Hi, we're doing sweet potatoes today, and I'm going to show you two awesome ways to plant them in your garden. You want to plant your sweet potatoes when your soil is 60 degrees, so that's pretty warm. The plants will get shipped out to you from Wood Prairie at the end of May, and hopefully everybody has some nice warm soil by that time. They're going to come to you, and I'll show you how they come. They're going to come to you in the mail in a box, and they are going to look like they've been sitting in a box. But these little guys are just fine. They're really healthy and they're bright green. We may get a little wilting on the leaves, but the vines themselves are very healthy, and they're going to root from each one of these nodes. It's going to put out tiny little root hairs. You might be able to see one right there starting a little bump. He's going to put out a root right there and grow just absolutely fine, even though he's lost his leaves. Now, if you get these and your garden's not ready, maybe you're in a especially cold area and your soil's not ready, the best thing to do is to get a medium-sized pot and set them down in there with a little dirt, and hopefully, you know, get some contact with the soil, let them start putting out those little tiny roots, and get them in the soil just as soon as you can. Okay, the first way we're going to plant the sweet potatoes is right in the ground. You want to plant these little babies about a foot apart or maybe a little more, and we want to lay them down in the row because, like I said, each one of those little nodes sends out roots, and so the more roots you've got going on, the quicker it'll start to take up water and nutrients and grow into a big viney plant. So let's come over here to the garden where I've got a row prepared here, pretty short row. So if that's 5 feet divided by about a foot apart, I'm only going to get about 4 plants in here. And when you're planting your garden, think about the sweet potatoes are going to send out long vines, cover the whole ground just as far as they can go. So they want a little elbow room. So we're going to take 4 little slips. Well, let's start with 1. We've got, here's 4 nodes. Let's let him have 3 of them right underground. I'm burying those about 1 inch deep and leaving that little top piece there sticking up above. We'll go along and put in 3 more. He doesn't need those wilted leaves, but they're not going to hurt him at all. I see some tiny roots starting, that little white thing. Look at him go. He's got a little root started. So we'll go about a foot over here and lay that in, cover up 2 or 3 nodes, and leave the top part sticking out. We want our soil to be about 60 degrees, and we want to plant them down in here to where they're about a foot apart. Cover 2/3 of the little nodes that you've got and move on to the next one. When you order half a dozen sweet potato slips, you always get 7 or 8, so there's always plenty. There we go, there's my little row of sweet potatoes. That's going to spread out pretty wide and cover the ground. I think I'll want to mulch over it. So when you plant them, you want to water once a day for about a week, and then every other day for about a week, and then twice a week for a month. You know, keep them well watered because they're just putting out tiny little roots. They want all the help they can get with their soil being watered enough. After they've been in for a little while, I'm going to side dress with some vegetable fertilizer. They don't need a whole lot, and I don't put it in underneath them. I wait till they've been planted for a little while, and then enjoy your sweet potatoes. Roosters. So here's our second technique for growing sweet potatoes in the garden, especially up here in Maine where it's cooler and we're waiting a little longer before our soil hits that perfect sweet spot for sweet potatoes. 60 degrees is what they like. And I saw this on a YouTube channel, a guy in Ireland, and it's pretty chilly up there too. He plants a lot of his sweet potatoes in these containers and he's getting a good yield because they're up above ground, they're getting a lot of sunlight hitting them. The sun comes and hits the side and warms up the soil, and the sweet potatoes really appreciate warmer soil. So we plant these ones in the containers, same way we planted in the ground. This container I'm going to put 3 little plants into, and I'm just going to make a little furrow in here as well for each of my little slips. Again, the slips, they're a little sad looking when they get to you, but so long as that stem is nice and green, you just go in and bury 2 or 3 nodes underground. Leave the tip sticking up out. And I'll just settle them down in those furrows, leaving just a little green stem up above. And I'm going to put 3 in this 25-gallon container. And we'll water those once a day for a week, every other day for a week, and then twice a week or so to make sure that the roots get started and the vines get going. So we've got our sweet potatoes in the soil. It's warmer soil because it's up in the sunshine in a nice dark planter. Here we are at 6 days checking out the new sweet potato plants as they're coming up in our grow bag. We'll keep in touch about whether the ones in the ground or the ones in the container grow faster, but I bet it's the ones in the container because the soil is going to be nice and warm for them. So that's a second way to plant sweet potatoes. Let us know if you have any other tricks for growing your sweet potatoes. I know it's not really traditionally a Maine crop because it's from the south where it's warmer, and we have to help them along, keep them warm till they get going. We're looking forward to seeing those vines start to grow. Thanks for coming by the farm here and helping out in the garden while we get our garden started.